Welcome Dr. Pitroda to Indira Gandhi National Open University. We've been hearing a great deal about this Center for Development of Telematics, CDOT in short. Would you like to tell us what is telematics?
Telematics is the science of combining telecommunications and informatics together. Normally, we talk about telephones. Telephones carry voice information throughout the telephone network. Now, we are trying to carry along with voice data information to interconnect all kinds of computers together so that information is available at appropriate places. This whole business of combining computers and communications, telephones and informatics is called telematics.
Dr. Pitroda, what is the legal character of CDOT? Is it a society or a project group, or is it an institution or a firm?
CDOT is a society, it's a center. It is not a business. It's a non-profit organization. It has a structure very similar to TIFR, for example, Tata Institute for Fundamental Research. We have a governing council headed by the Minister of Communication. Then we have a steering committee headed by the Secretary of the Department of Electronics. And then we have a project board. This project board essentially makes all the decisions. Since it is a society, we can function outside the government norms. We have a great deal of flexibility, autonomy. This allows us to have the freedom we need to get the job done.
What is CDOT's relationship with Department of Telecommunication and other bureaucratic institutions in the country?
Well, we are jointly funded by the Department of Electronics and Department of Telecommunications. We report directly to the Department of Electronics, but Department of Telecom is the ultimate user of what we design and develop. So we have to have very close relationship with Department of Telecom. They provide specifications to which we essentially design products. We have very close ongoing relationship with Department of Telecom. In fact, when we started this group, the core group of 30 people, half of those people came from Department of Telecom and the other half came from TIFR. The three people I talked about in the board, these are three eminent engineers from our existing Indian institutions. Mr. Mimamsi, who is a Padma Shri, is the executive director. He was at TRC before, Department of Telecom land. Mr. Majan, who has been in Department of Telecom for a long time, and Dr. Pitke, professor at TIFR. These three people really constitute our board. And it was very important in the early stages to get people from their team to form a core group of people to build the whole structure.
Tell me, why was it necessary to organize CDOT with autonomous character? Was it not possible for the existing institutions like Bharat Electronics Limited or ITI or even educational institutions like IITs to undertake this kind of research and development work?
It turns out that the existing institutions, TRC and IITs or ITIs, couldn't deliver a specific product as complex as digital switch. We tried earlier, we had some success, but we couldn't really translate that product into production. So it was very, very important to have a mission-oriented approach, where you have a time-bound program, you have budgets, you have specific time targets, and we felt that these things cannot be done or could not be done in the existing government bureaucracy. We were very clear that if this project is set up as part of a government structure, it will not get off the ground. So we in fact requested early in the game that if we really want a mission-oriented program, it has to be outside the government. And I call this a bypass. a little bypass surgery had to be performed in the existing system to grow something outside. It required different culture, it required different background. So it was very clear to us this was not possible.
Inside CDOT, what is its organization structure?
Well, we have 3 directors, 1 executive director and 2 directors. Below these 3 directors, we have several managers. We have technical team and we have support team. We have manager of administration, manager of finance, and then we have technical team, manager of systems, hardware, software, production, and various other support managers. Below these managers, we have group supervisors, group leaders, and below them we have engineers. So we really have 3 or 4 levels of people. But the key here is that this group works not in the hierarchical system, but more in an egalitarian system, because almost all our people are technical people. Very large number is technical. Today we have roughly 450 people, 225 in Delhi, 225 in Bangalore, and around 80% of our people are technical people.
Do you think that the decision-making processes are faster and they are not delayed on account of certain bureaucratic procedures?
No, because the decision-making on a day-to-day basis is really in the hands of supervisors and managers. Directors do not get involved on a day-to-day basis. Directors are more involved in policy making, on reviews, and some major financial matters. Technical guidance comes more at a review time. Day-to-day decisions are made at a lower level.
You talked about a large number of technical people in CDOT. What are your assumptions about their capabilities before initiating CDOT and now?
Well, I personally felt that our people are very capable. I knew from my first-hand experience that we have lots and lots of talent in India. I sometimes give my own example. I wasn't the best student in my class. Where are the other best people? They are somewhere in India.
Right.
You go to any of the major institutions in America and you find, or for that matter in any other major countries, you find that Indians are in all key positions. Whether technical, at laboratories, or in business, or in hospitals. If we can do so well outside, why can't we do well with the same group of people at home? I felt that what was lacking was really the environment. So this was my earlier impression. After having been here for last 3 years, not only this impression has been verified, reinforced, but I think I am more believer in our talent today than I was 3 years ago.
That's very nice to hear. Did you have a management strategy in mind while organizing CDOT?
Well, I had 1 or 2 ideas. I wasn't very clear in terms of how it will unfold, but I recognized that it had to be done outside the government. This was verified with my colleagues, Mr. Mimamsi, Dr. Pitke and others, who worked with me in the early stages of planning. We collectively felt that it requires structure outside and it has to have new management system, because we will be dealing with lots and lots of young people. Their needs are going to be different. They are all basically going to be software oriented, electronics oriented, coming right out of the university, and we'll have to tune in our management style to suit their needs if we are going to focus on human side of productivity.
What is the financial strategy of CDOT?
We get 36 crore or we got 36 crore rupees from the government of India, 50% funded by the Department of Electronics, 50% by Department of Telecom, and we are given 3 years to develop a family of digital switching systems to suit Indian conditions using Indian talent. So this has been basically the format.
Is CDOT being subjected to various kinds of audits and financial reviews, or?
Of course, we spend public money. We are responsible, like anybody else is. We have to go through the audit procedures of the government of India, but we have flexibility in spending the money we have been given. Give you some simple examples. We want to, let's say, send a group of people to review some technology outside to US or to England. We don't have to wait for a month or so to get permission from somebody. We have all of these things worked out, and we can put somebody on plane tomorrow morning.
Right.
This kind of flexibility is very, very essential if we are going to buy time. I mean, the task we have undertaken, people feel could not be done. People have said again and again that this project is not possible in 36 months for 36 crore. In fact, foreigners complain and compare that it takes $500 million in other countries to do this. How come this bunch of Indian fellows are going to do it for 36 crore? And we say we can do it because, one, we have lots of talent. Two, our salary structure is such that we pay our software man here, let's say, 100,000 rupees a year. In America, we pay $100,000 a year. So there's a difference of 12 to 1. So when we compare 36 crore, 36 million, let's say, in terms of manpower, man hours, man years, it is really comparable to 400 million.
What kind of purchasing system have you evolved for CDOT? Is it still riddled with the same kind of bureaucratic delays as one experiences in the other such institutions?
Well, we can't afford to have that because we have very little time to do things we need to do. So we do follow general, 2 or 3 quotations, but we make decisions right within the system. There are some levels set up that manager can make decision for so much, and group leader can make decision for so much. And then ultimately, if it is large amount, it comes to the board. Board meets on a regular basis, make the decision, and it's over. These decisions have to be made fast.
Did you have a mission and a set of objectives for CDOT when you started?
CDOT has a very clear-cut, focused mission. It is product-oriented. Our entire focus is on delivering a product, not only in design but also something that can go into production at the end of 36 months for Indian telephone network to suit Indian traffic conditions. So we are designing a family of switching products. Earlier idea was to just design switching products for the main exchange. We started with that. Main exchange is the telephone exchange that connects your home telephone to a public exchange. The main exchange could be for urban areas, it could be for suburban areas. We put together a plan on that, and then we recognized as we got more and more into design of this system layout and all, that we need something in the early stages. So we came up with a product called Private Automatic Branch Exchange, a small unit, 128 ports or lines and trunks. And then we developed a product called Rural Exchange for rural India. We installed our first rural exchange in Kittur, Karnataka. It has been working for last 8 months very well. And it is one of those products which doesn't require air conditioning. So it is really designed to suit Indian conditions. So this was our basic charter.
It is nice to know that some of the CDOT products are being gradually commercialized. Now, what would you attribute this success to? Was it the fact that you had quantified your goals? You said 36 months and we'll deliver the following products at the following times. Was it a public commitment which...
There are lots and lots of factors. But the bottom line in all of this is lot of talent in our young people. It was all right for us to visualize a goal. It was all right for us to make public commitment, which I believe is a great motivating force in this country. But if we didn't have the talent we have, if our people had not put in the best, all of this would remain conversation. On one hand, we gave them a challenge. On the other hand, they accepted it. They are putting their best in it. And with that kind of a commitment, it has to happen.
What kind of work culture has evolved in CDOT?
We would like to say that we have a culture which is more egalitarian than hierarchical. It begins from the flexibility that we give to our people. They can come at any time, they can leave at any time. We provide good working environment, clean, flexible, open. We have set targets for them, so they know exactly what they are supposed to do. We don't stand on their shoulder and doubt every move they make. We support them. We give credit where it belongs. We have good open communication. People can come in, walk into anybody's office and say anything they want to say. We have lots and lots of meetings. There are conference rooms, so people have a great deal of discussions. In a nutshell, everybody is involved in this process. Goal is fixed, well defined, and everyone is working together toward this goal. Teamwork is something we encourage a lot, because without proper teamwork, we can't really do the things we need to do.
Do you also encourage social activities to take the heat out of the system?
Yes, because the pressure sometimes gets to be very high. It's not very easy to go on giving deadlines after deadlines and try to meet these deadlines, because the pressure builds up. So there are recreation activities, there are computer games to begin with, then there are games outside, whether it is cricket or football or picnic, socializing, partying and all that. We have music programs every once in a while, our people go on picnic together. There is a great deal of social activity which brings our people together, their families together. Without that kind of an interaction, the pressure will get to you very easily.
Talking about the management systems and processes, who really provides leadership to CDOT?
I think the board, 3 directors, managers. I do my bit here and there as advisor, and it's a group that really provides leadership in various areas. We have a system where we meet with everyone once every couple of months, with the entire staff at some place in a hotel or in a large conference hall, and we spend 2-3 hours together. We'll tell them where we are today, what we are going to do next, and where we failed, and what are the errors we made in our own areas. And then we allow people to come out and say things. Essentially, people beat on your head.
Right.
This is very, very important from the viewpoint of management, so that they inform everyone, and also from the viewpoint of people who are working on day-to-day things, that they can come out and tell in front of everybody, management, what their problems are. And then every once in a while we set up a little team to solve these problems. Someone would come out and say, look, cafeteria is very bad, for example, or the rooms need to be painted.
Right.
And then we have team look into this and we solve those problems as much as we can. And this way we have better communication.
How would you compare the human resource policies of CDOT with that of the existing government institutions?
First of all, as I said earlier, we started with a small group of 30 key people. We spent about 5-6 months with this team with great deal of experience in telephony, in computers, on system design, system structure and all that. Then we decided to hire a very large group of people. So we placed ads in the newspaper. We got about 1,200 resumes. We started sorting those. We invited lots and lots of people for interviews, and on one shot we made 100 offers. Next slot we hired another 100, 150 people. Most of our people have come from universities and institutions like IITs, fresh graduates. Then we give them reasonably good salary, as good as it is they will get in the private sector when they start. We give them better housing allowances and all other things. We provide good transportation facility, a good medical package. Overall, our benefit package is as good as anybody else would have. On top of that, we give them exciting work environment, challenging opportunity to contribute to nation building, because this is a task which relates to a larger goal of development and nation building. They are not just designing a product on which somebody is going to make profit. They are designing something that is going to remain in Indian telephone network for 20, 30 years to come. And their fingerprint will be on that product, on this soil for a long time to come.
That's right.
And if we don't improve communication, we are not going to have modernization. We can't expedite the process of modernization. They understand all this, and they realize the important role they have to play.
Dr. Pitroda, how do you monitor the progress of various groups and individuals in CDOT?
All our programs are charted, PERTed. Almost all of the PERTs are on computers. Every project has tasks and subtasks and all that, and every task and subtasks will have an individual responsible for that task. And then that individual is given a time frame, and we have a small group of 3 young MBAs in project management team reporting at the highest possible level, who are free to go anywhere in the organization, collect information, analyze information, and feed it back to the management. And they really help us monitor day-to-day activity. For example, just about a month ago, we had a major review meeting in Bangalore, where 50 or 60 of our managers and supervisors and group leaders and key engineers and directors, we all got together for 2 full days. Starts at 9 in the morning, goes on till 9 at night. And we would then go through one by one activities, review the status, find the bottleneck, take notes there, give directions there. There will be people taking notes, secretaries making all kinds of, writing memos if necessary. And then these things, when we come home to Delhi or Bangalore, back to the office, get put into the computer, and we have a follow-up mechanism. What is interesting is that review is something very, very new to our people. Our people don't review things as often as they should. Time management is another aspect. Everyone knows enough about it. Nobody does anything about it. It is one thing to know management, it's another thing to practice management. And what we are trying to do is teach our young people how to practice management. There is a great deal of management know-how. The difference is in doing it.
Dr. Pitroda, what kind of a performance appraisal system have you evolved for CDOT?
Took us quite a bit of time to evolve a performance appraisal system that was acceptable to majority of our people. We have a performance appraisal form which outlines specific assignment during the period for which person is being evaluated. Achievements, contributions and deficiencies are listed, and then each individual is asked to go through attributes like efficiency, managerial skills, professional ability, team building, human relations, adaptability, expressions, communication skills, creativity, cost consciousness, commitment, dependability and reliability. So each one gives certain ranking. For example, 9 to 10 could be exceptional out of 10 on the scale of 10. 7 to 8 could be outstanding, 6 is good, 4 to 5 is average, and below 3 is poor. So after one is evaluated self, then the immediate senior colleague or supervisor would evaluate. Then they are supposed to sit down and negotiate this and come to some consensus. This process is very difficult because our people are not quite used to evaluating themselves, and they are also not used to evaluating others in front of them. It takes time. We're just beginning to learn this because everyone thinks that he should be getting more than what he's been given,
Right.
which is good. But then people don't accept that as a normal given process. Performance appraisal is a very critical item in an innovative environment like ours. We do this once every 6 months or a year. It needs to be done more frequently. So what we are asking our managers and supervisors to do is to meet with their people once every month, at least once every month, and have a 5-minute chat with them. How are you doing? I don't like this, I like this. You're doing well here, you're not doing well here, I want you to improve this, so on and so forth. But again, this is not part of our culture. It's very difficult. We have what I call split level consciousness, where we wind up telling somebody what he wants to hear and not quite what we should tell them. So our own people are not very comfortable in evaluating. They all get charged up and say, I'm going to tell this fellow that you are not doing well. And the fellow really comes and says, well, you're doing very well. And this creates conflicts.
Right.
So we are learning. The people are learning.
Have you had situations where you had to ask somebody to quit the organization?
We had a couple of cases where we had to force people either to quit or to do something else. We handled those very carefully. We had discussions with them individually along with 2-3 other people, and we told them why we think they are not doing what they were supposed to do, and we gave them an opportunity to improve. You have to do that.
That's right.
But then there is so much going on in this organization. If someone is not good at A, we can find him something to do in area of, something lower, say let's say area B. We are a growing organization. We are constantly in search of more people.
What do you think really motivates the few hundred staff of CDOT?
I think one basic thing is clear-cut, well-defined objectives which fit into a larger dream with time-bound program and a management organization that gives them flexibility. So you can do your best under the circumstances, and that motivates people.
What is going to be the future of CDOT once its current mission is obtained?
Well, CDOT so far has been a project. I remember about a year ago, we had a psychiatrist come in and examine the health of CDOT. It was quite a unique experience for people at CDOT. This psychiatrist came in and talked to a variety of people at all levels. And then finally he gave his report to the management. And he said that there is great deal of anxiety in your organization because your people quite don't understand whether you are a project or you are an institution. They're concerned about their future at the end of 3 years. We didn't realize the impact of that. And he said this is affecting their work. So we told people that, well, don't worry about it, at the end of 3 years you will have something to do, but it didn't work that well. Because our people wanted us to translate this into action. So finally what we did is put together a next 3-year plan from 1987 to 1990. Specific plan, presented it to our governing council, got their consensus. Now we know that we will have a specific program from 87 to 90. So we are now going to be an institution. So as soon as this project is complete, we'll be looking for permanent campus. As you know, we have been operating in a hotel, old hotel. This was a temporary location. But once we prove our work by delivering the product, we'll be able to go out to management, our governing council, and ask for funds for land, building and full campus. So we are an institution in that sense.
As an institution, would you still retain the existing management systems and practices?
We have to. We have no other options, because we are in an organization or in a technology culture which is changing so fast. The change has to be the only constant thing in the organization. We can't really be in this fast-moving telematics technology if we are not used to change. The only thing that is constant in this kind of a business is change.
Right.
So we have to have the organization which is in tune with the technology we are trying to build. We can't have 1940s organization like we have in telecommunications,
Right.
and then try to implement technologies of 1980s. Just simply cannot be done.
Well, let's say based on C-dot experience, what general lessons would you arrive at in managing technology in developing societies like ours?
One major lesson is that unless and until we develop several national missions with specific time target, specific funds, we cannot really give clear-cut direction to our people. So that's a fundamental requirement. Whether we have one in telecom or 10 in other areas, whether it is water, energy, irrigation, transportation, whatever you have, we got to come up with a mission statement. Then we got to put 2 or 3 missionaries. There are no missions without missionaries.
Right.
You can't have a mission and then have bureaucratic structure to implement those missions. So every mission has to have a group of missionaries. Then those missionaries ought to be given organization and structure where they have authority, flexibility, autonomy to implement the programs they have been trusted with. They should be allowed to spend, they should be allowed to travel, they should be allowed to hire, and they should be trusted. We could have public audit. So in this country, in the governmental systems, we have lots and lots of gatekeepers in the system. They can tell you, you can't do this, and you can do that. But there are no watchdogs. We need to evolve a system where there are no gatekeepers, but there are lots of watchdogs. So you put together a team like that, give them a goal, give them funds, leave them alone, and let public monitor them. Things will happen. This is one major lesson I have learned. Second lesson, which is part of this, is trust your young people. They have more at stake in the system than old people have, or older. When I say young, I don't really mean young in terms of age.
Right.
There could be a young man at the age of 60 with brilliant young mind, innovative, forward-looking. So take these young minds and give them the environment and over-trust them. Give them lots and lots of things to do. Give them the freedom to innovate. And for that, you need good communication skills.
Right.
You need good reviews, good appraisal system, good communication, so that you can build teams. Without teamwork, none of these things can be accomplished. Our major failure in many areas had to do with teamwork.
Right.
Unless and until we create good leaders and good teams, a lot of the science and technology projects cannot be implemented. I find going into many meetings in traditional environment, and it turns out that these meetings run into personality conflicts and shows, and we lose sight of the main objective. This happens because a lot of these people have very fragile self-esteem, gets hurt very easily. So we can't focus on the main goal. We can't be objective. We get into personalities and we get off on tangent. Happens time and time again. And these are the non-technical things which take a lot of time and energy and cut into our productivity and efficiency. These are the human issues.
Right. Suppose you have a good mission. As you said that the country needs several missions simultaneously. How do you convince the financing institutions or the bureaucrats who are responsible for releasing the funds?
We have to develop consensus about the need. We have to articulate these needs at a national level and say that we have to have this particular activity. It is part of a major nation building task. Let us say, for example, drinking water. How could you not convince our people that we need drinking water for our people? Take another example from urban areas, mass transportation. What are we doing about our mass transportation for Lucknows and Kanpurs and Allahabads and Ahmedabads and Barodas of India? Are we going to go on running these buses forever? So we got to define that mission, put together a team, give them funds, leave them alone. In 5 years, they'll come up with a solution. To me, this is the crux of the matter. We have to evolve bypass mechanisms within our system. Our existing system is not very productive in science and technology areas.
Right.
Though we have a lot of talent, it has not resulted into lots of products. We need product-oriented R&D. We don't need research with results in terms of papers.
Right.
We need research with results in terms of products. And unless and until we change our focus into different management style, I don't think we can deliver that kind of result.
Given the success of C-DOT mission, would you say that we have discovered an indigenous management approach?
I won't say we have discovered anything, but I would say we have rediscovered some of the things we have known, but we have not practiced in the past. Basically, all we have done is given our people a specific goal with well-defined objectives which fit into the overall nation-building task, put together a small team of people, given them proper funding, autonomy, flexibility, authority, responsibility, turn them loose, and then monitor them inside through all kinds of modern management techniques, but outside through public awareness. In our country, we have lots and lots of gatekeepers. These people can tell you that you can't do this and you can't do that. What we need is more watchdogs. If we have a mission like this, our media can play a major role of being a watchdog group. Some of the techniques we have used at C-DOT are fairly well known, but the difference is in doing it. Management is something that one needs to learn to practice. Having defined objectives, having given freedom, having system to monitor all this, the key really lies to our productivity. And our productivity depends on not the equipment, but on people. How do we bring best out of our people becomes the key issue. Unless and until you create an environment where your people give their best, you can't really accomplish some of these missions. These cannot be seen as jobs. It has to be seen as mission. And when you have missions, you got to have missionaries. More the missionaries, better off you are. And all we have done is really created environments for our people to function in a freer environment to bring their best.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pitroda. It was very enriching talking to you on how to manage research and development. Thank you once again on behalf of Indira Gandhi National Open University and on my own behalf. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your taking time out also. Thanks a lot.